Good evening and welcome to hashtag What Woke Looks Like the podcast. I am your host, Yolanda Yo the Spiritualist Hops, and boy, it does not seem like season two is coming to an end this quickly, but alas, it is. But you know what? It wouldn't be a season ending without a special guest to share it with. But first, before I introduce this special guest, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor. Sit tight and we'll be right back.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
And I'm back. So, again, as I stated earlier, this is the season ending. This is the end of season two. This is episode 10. And I decided tonight that I would title our episode something that would be fitting for our special guest: How to Get and Stay Motivated in a Changing World. I don't think anybody can deny the fact that our world is changing right before our very eyes. And to keep up with it and to stay abreast of times that we're living in, we have to know how to stay motivated. It's very easy these days to get discouraged and to fall off the bandwagon. Well, that's why I called in an expert tonight. And let me tell you a little bit about this special guest. Mimi the Motivator is a speaker, a holistic leadership strategist, and a leader activator who doesn't believe in motivation. She believes in transformation. Aha! With nearly 2 decades of experience, she helps purpose driven leaders align their mindset, well being, and strategy so that they can build bigger lives, organizations, and impact. Her work blends business strategy with deep inner work, helping people break through limiting beliefs and step into their next level. As the founder of the Feel Rich Group, as well as Evolve Me University, Mimi is known for her bold, no nonsense approach to personal power, wealth building, and sustainable success. That's right, we're talking about none other than Mimi the Motivator. And she is here to tell us how to get and stay motivated in a changing world. Please join me in welcoming Mimi to the stage. Hello, my sister. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here with us tonight. How are you?
Hey, I am better than good and better than most, as Les Brown would say.
Listen, that's what I'm talking about. We've already got some comments coming in tonight. Linnea McCrary is saying, I need this kind of info. Okay, so there's no doubt in the listen, there is no doubt we all need this kind of info. Present company included, okay? Not excluded, but included, okay? So welcome in Linnea and those others who are in with us tonight. Mimi, I'm so thankful that you were able to take some time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us about this very, very, very important topic.
Thank you.
Listen. Motivation is a buzzword that we hear all the time. And I think it's also one that a lot of us take for granted. Let's see, just before I go any further, there are some more comments coming in already. Marvin Barnes is here to say, we love you, Mimi, and we're huge fans. Welcome in, Marvin. We're glad to have you. And that's coming from Lafayette, Tennessee. All right, now Tennessee is in the house tonight, and we are so glad to have you here. So we got a couple of states. We got Tennessee, we got Ohio, we got Florida. Okay, we and we got Georgia. Okay, let's not forget the Peach State. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome in. We've also got Joe Berry saying Mimi is amazing. Everyone needs Mimi. Girl, what you gotta tell us all the tea. Okay, don't waste a drop because we need to hear about motivation. If you here's my question.
Yes.
Now we know that there are definitions for the word motivation. You know, Webster's dictionary has a definition. Shucks, Google has a definition too. But if you were to define motivation in your own terms,
Hmm.
what would you say? What would you say motivation is?
I would say that motivation is motion in action.
Oh,
Literally, that's it. It's not something that happens on the outside. That's why when people ask me, "Are you a motivational speaker?" I'm like, absolutely not, because motivation is gonna pump you up and send you to the door. That's not what we're doing over here. We're gonna
okay.
create transformation, but motivation is something that comes from the inside.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that.
And what it really comes from is you taking action. When you take some action, it makes you want to take some more action. It's just
Mm,
fun. When they sprint real fast and they take a break, something in them wants to make a sprint again, to
yes.
do it faster, to do it again. That is motivation. That's why I say it's motion in action.
I love that. I love that. It's motion and action. Oh my goodness. Here's another comment coming in already. Charlie Colquitt says, her energy is off the charts. And you know what, Charlie? We want to welcome you in, and we hope that by the time we get through with this segment, our energy is going to be off the charts too. Okay? Clock it. Okay? So, motion in action. That's what we're talking about. Motion in action. How hard is it, Mimi, to get people? Okay, I'm gonna rephrase that. I was gonna say, how hard is it to get people in motion?
Oh, that's a good question. But go ahead and rephrase it. Go ahead and say it how you want to say it.
But I think what I prefer to say is, how do we get them in action or get them in motion and keep them in motion?
Okay. So I think the way you asked it was the better question, because
Okay,
we can't do anything for anyone else.
right.
Okay. So how do we get there? It starts with doing. So a lot of times when I work with my clients, I always have them list out their different goals for 10 different areas of life.
Yes.
And then after we identify the top 5 that we're going to immediately work on, we start coming up with some baby steps to get there. Okay. We don't need to figure everything out on the first day and do it overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole entire show, Get High on Motivation, is about being 1% better every day, because it's about those baby steps, those incremental steps is
Mm-hmm.
how we get there. So
Mm-hmm.
very often, but all I ask my clients to do is to come up with 3 5-minute steps. So that's something you can do today, something you can do tomorrow, and the day after that, because what we really want to do is create momentum.
Yes. Yes.
You can keep it going. It's called the law of inertia. An object in
Yes.
motion is a motion, and an
Mm-hmm.
object or person at rest remains at rest. So that's why
Ooh,
when you take a break, it's hard to get back going. When you take a break from school, I took a break from podcasting, and the struggle is so real trying to get back in that thing. You know,
oh my goodness.
the gym. If you take a break from anything, especially if it is something that leads to your success, it's
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
Get back going.
Yes. So true. So true. I couldn't have said it better myself. That inertia. It is so tough. How long has it been? I'm just curious. How long has it been since you've done podcasting?
I want to say that I don't think I've posted an episode since 2024. I,
Okay.
I would think somewhere off in there. Don't quote me.
Okay.
all y'all got to do is go look on the music apps, find the show, and it'll tell you when the last episode was.
Okay, I got you. I got you. So this is one of those things where you know that you want to get back to it. You know that you need to get back to it.
Mhm.
However, it's one of those things that's not the easiest to do. We got some more comments coming in. Marvin is saying from the Nelson family, go Mimi, go Mimi. See, you know what? I love a good hype man. Linnea McCrary is saying she can handle a 1% bill. She can definitely handle that. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's saying, come on, science class. I've never thought to apply it that way. You know what, Linnea? I haven't either. When you said the law of inertia, it immediately clicked. But before that, I had never thought of motivation that way. Is that something that have you always been able to kind of combine the two, or is this something that over time and as working in this motivational field that you just kind of began to see it in that light over time?
I can't say when it clicked for me
Okay.
that people don't need to take leaps and bounds. So I wrote a book called The Soul Rinse. And in The Soul Rinse, at first it had a whole different name, but
Okay.
it was a graduated process, because what I noticed that whether it's my clients or somebody else's clients, if they tried to do like a fad diet, like an immediate, I'm not eating this, or I'm
Mhm.
gonna stop drinking, smoking, and saying cuss words, whatever. They were trying to do too much overnight. It
Mm.
last, because everybody, whether they believe it or realize it or not, are operating from a be do have model. So if you want to have certain things, you have to do certain things. So people, okay, they'll do the thing, but they're not committed to it. And really what the real issue is they have not transformed who they are. So you have
Ah.
to change who you be so you can change what you do more permanently. And then that will lead to you having that which you desire to have.
Oh, wow. And you made it sound so simple, but the reality is that most of us make these things a lot harder than they really have to be.
Yeah. And
And that's where you come in.
yeah, simple doesn't always equate to easy, but it means doable. It
Yes,
means doable.
yes.
It means get your butt up and start working on it. That's what it means.
Right. You can't just sit idly by and just expect for the magic to happen. You've got to make it happen. Yes?
Yes.
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 I'm glad you brought up a point about, essentially goal setting and how people set too many goals at once. And that can be a deterrent to getting and staying motivated, so to speak. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm guilty. Okay. I'm guilty. But what's more interesting is the fact that I can see it play out in others. And then I can advise them, you know what, you're trying to do too much at one time. But then when it comes down to me,
Hmm. Uh-huh.
I'm like, now why can't I take my own advice?
It's easy. The easiest thing to know for all of us is that the advice is always for us. The message is always for us.
Yes.
For my
Yes.
show, to my shows, because I feel like the message is for me. When I'm trying to tell somebody in my life that I care about, I'm trying to give them some advice and they act a little funny about the advice I'm giving, I say that's okay, because the message is really for me.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you first start telling yourself that, you'll start being more aware of what you really need to be doing. And that everybody walking around is really a mirror of you in some aspect.
Yes, yes. Now that I do realize, that I came to realize a couple of years ago when I really started on my spiritual journey. I've been was on a religious journey for years, but then I began a spiritual, journey. And at that point in time, that awakening that I went through kind of helped me kind of reframe some of my thinking. And instead of always looking at people through this lens and saying them, I began to say we, so to
Mhm.
speak. And that's what I'm hearing you say right now today. So I'm curious to know, because, every guest that I have on my show is, in my opinion, the embodiment of hashtag what woke really looks like. Tell us a little bit about what your journey was and how you came to be the CEO of the Feel Rich Group and Evolve Me University, and a leadership development strategist and all of those things. How did you come to be so woke? Me?
I would say, how did I become so woke?
Mm,
Raise my hand when you talked about their religious path. I was super religious. I converted to Catholicism at the age of maybe like 23, 24. I was baptized into the Catholic Church.
okay.
I took communion 6 days a week. I had an office at the church.
Whoa.
I was development director at the age of like 25, 26. I was secretary of the National Black Catholic Congress. I was not playing. I was
Girl.
teaching Sunday school to the high schoolers. I was volunteering on Saturday with the younger kids. I was deep in that thing. I read the Bible every single day. I read it cover to cover, but I didn't read it. I have to be honest. I didn't read it cover to cover until after I read the Quran cover to cover. So
Ah.
Bible, like according to the liturgical calendar or this book or that study book, but I had never read it cover to cover, page by page.
Hmm.
Quran, page by page, cover to cover, even when I didn't want to read it anymore because I felt like it was a little hostile. I was like, I don't want to read this book anymore, but I read it cover to
Yeah.
cover. So then it made me realize, well, I haven't read the Bible cover to cover. So I started reading it cover to cover. And
Mhm.
the problem became that I read it so much that I believed what it said. And I started following what it said to the
Gotcha.
point that I started looking crazy, first at church and then in my family and then in the community. I remember having the conversation with my favorite nun because I stopped working, because that's what it said in the New Testament, that I didn't need to work, that I didn't need to pack an extra money bag. I didn't need to pack a extra tunic. I didn't need to worry about feeding myself, that as long as that I was willing to go share the good word, that I would be provided for. So that
Mhm.
I was like about 25 years old. I quit working and all I would do is just read books like they were going out of style, and just trying to find out what was the difference between the wealthy and the poor. What could I do to change my life, my family's life, my community's life, my culture's life? And
Okay.
did everything.
Wow.
That's what started the journey to here.
Okay. Okay.
I had
Okay.
been a business consultant, as I don't know, I've been a consultant my entire life is what it feels like. But
Okay.
I've been a business consultant. I was a business consultant for probably about 14 years before that business started shifting.
Mhm.
I wear two different hats. I wore a hat over here where I would build your websites, design your flyers, set up your social media profiles. And then over here, I wore a hat that if you were sick, you called me and I told you what to eat, what to drink, what to boil together, what to stay away from. And that started evolving.
Okay.
So now I'm realizing that my conversations with my business clients are more and more or about them and less about the business, because I started realizing that there was a direct connection between what's going on in their mind and in their heart space.
Uh-huh.
That's what's affecting the profit line. It's not the bugs or the inconsistent spaghetti recipe, you know.
Gotcha.
So that started evolving. I started becoming more of a, back then I didn't have the verbiage holistic, but I,
Yes, holistic. I was gonna say holistic.
yeah, so then I just said, okay, I'm just a consultant. And I
Okay.
just explained kind of like what I did. Further along, I got tired of going back and forth, and I could only work with clients I was spiritually aligned with. So if you didn't have community in mind and all you wanted to do was make money, I couldn't work with you, because I had a bad experience working with some con artists that left me stranded in Colorado and I had to rebuild my whole entire life.
Oh
Now,
my God, seriously.
yes, girl. I was stranded out there, homeless, had to completely rebuild from scratch and rebuild my business at the same time with this new direction that I've decided to take.
Got you.
because I was no longer willing to just take money because you wanted to hire me. I started hiring my clients instead. You can't hire me.
Oh, I love it. You can't hire me. I
No,
can hire you, but you can't hire me.
when I was younger, I said I was unemployable. Now I'm unhireable. I do the hiring. I hire my
Mm,
clients. You
I'm
don't
liking it.
IP.
I love it. I love every bit of this. Girl, go on. Because you got me hook, line, and sinker. I am tapped right in with what you're saying. Linnea McCrary is saying, I'm set for this story arc. Okay? Girl, the tea is hot and piping. If only I had a tea kettle right here, I would go ahead and put some on. Okay? But go ahead, honey. We're listening. Tell us all the tea.
So from there, I was still building my business, but I'm becoming more and more holistic behind closed doors.
Okay.
So now at this point, I've studied metaphysics for years. So now I understand the connection between the mind and the body and how everything begins in the mind and manifests in the body. Just like in the Bible says, in the beginning was the word was with God, and the word became flesh.
That's
So
it.
realizing that thoughts become things,
Yes. Yes.
are reality.
Yes.
And whatever we got on this little spinny wheel up in our head is now
Mhm.
magnified or being
That's
projected into this
yes.
and we call reality,
Yes.
you know. And
Yes.
now I can't take it anymore. I can't wear these two different hats. I'm deciding I'm wearing both hats at the same damn time. I don't care what people say. I don't care if they call me woo woo or whatever. It is what it is. I have to walk in my purpose, and that's the only thing I can do at this point is walk in my purpose.
Mhm.
And I know that my clients are my clients, and my clients know that they are my clients.
Yes, I love that. Wow, what a journey. So I'm curious. I have to ask. I got to go back to Colorado for a second. So they left you stranded in Colorado.
Yes.
Sounds like a little destitute, okay?
Mhm.
Sounds like as the young people say, I am confusion. Sounds like you were confusion.
Yeah.
At that time, like what's really going on out here in these streets. So how did you get yourself out of that predicament? Because that would be, it seems like to me, that would be something that would require quite a bit of motivation.
Absolutely, positively. I would say that first it began with my life mantra that everything is always working out for me.
Come on.
So I wake up every morning, I would listen to Abraham Hicks had a rampage. Everything's always working out for me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what's going on is always working out for me. And so I convinced myself no matter what it looks like, sounds like, smells like, feels like, everything is working out for me.
Yes. It's all working out for my good. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh my God, I love that.
Man,
Lynette,
look, I would tell myself this is just part of the movie.
yes.
It's going to be a Netflix series. My life is a whole Netflix series. The more you learn, the more you're like, oh my God, you know, hey, it's all a part of the movie. When people messed up, all I think, ooh, I feel bad because you're painting your character and
Oh,
everybody.
definitely. Yeah, for
So
sure.
I just told myself this is part of the story. This is part of what they call the origin story.
Yes. Yes.
Star, celebrity, anybody that has been majorly successful has
Mm-hmm.
an origin story that has been very dark.
Oh,
Okay.
definitely. Oh, definitely, for sure. I want to take a quick comment here. Linnea McCrary is saying getting deep into and between the covers of the holy books will lead you to some uncharted waters. Yes, they will. And most of us who are really what we call woke, and we're not talking about the stereotypical type
No.
of woke, but those of us who have really been through the fire, I like to say. That's a part of the awakening. We've studied all of the things.
Mhm.
We've seen God through many different lenses. We've seen the creator, we've seen source through many different lenses. And we've come to realize that God is who we say God is
Huh.
in each of our individual lives. Yes?
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Mimi the Motivator. Oh my God, I remember seeing her in Nashville. She's so great. You know what? Just that boy Red. You right. She's great. That's why she's here tonight. I love it. So, okay. So,
So I'm gonna tell you, that brings me back to the story about the nun. So
okay.
working, my favorite nun says, you know, you have to have a job. I said, no, I don't. I said, what's your job? I said, don't you get paid to pray? I said, I'm gonna get paid to do the same. I said, except I'm gonna go in some spaces that you're not gonna go into. And I did. I used to be in the trap house talking about God. I'd be in the strip club talking about God. I'd be at the bar talking about God.
Mm-hmm.
And I was provided for, so I was thoroughly convinced. So now
Mm-hmm.
friends are trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Like, you're not working, but you always got money. You always doing things. You just bought a Benz with cash. Like, how does this work? Like, what's happening?
Right.
So then they started kind of figuring out. And back then, I didn't even know the word manifest. I didn't even have verbiage. I didn't know anything about law of attraction. I didn't know any of these words. I just knew the Bible. And Jesus said,
Yes. 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 Yes.
I was doing what I thought this is what Jesus was doing. This ain't
Yes.
what Christians are doing, but this is what Jesus was doing.
But Jesus
So
was
I'm gonna follow what Jesus said and see how that works out. I did, and right. But look, but now they like, man, she crazy.
wow.
But now it's a trend. What I was doing back then, this was 2005 when I started this.
Yes.
We 21 years later, and
21 years later.
catching on to manifesting, using your mind to create things,
Yep.
being mindful of what the words coming out of your mouth, protecting your ear gate and your eye gate. I was on that, but I was crazy. Is what they called it back then. It was crazy. Now it's called woke. Hi.
That's called woke. Exactly. And it's just a reframing of the same mindset or the same terminology. And it's funny that, you know, when you talked about thoughts become things, and that is something that I often reference because what Rhonda Byrne wrote The Secret,
Yeah.
which is all about the law of attraction. I know there have been others who have written texts about the law of attraction as well, but she in particular, my uncle, introduced me to that book
Yes.
over 25 years ago. And that was when I learned about being able to manifest and being able to turn your reality into, you know, whatever you've been dreaming about. You can actually use your mindset to create the reality that you desire.
Yes.
Radical faith. You are so right, Linnea. Radical faith. Yes.
I always say entrepreneurship requires radical faith. You got to have crazy faith.
Who are you telling?
Huh.
Who are you telling?
Go in the middle of the desert with no sign of rain or water and get people to lend their tools, bring some wood, and put in the work.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So you went through this process and you were out there again in the trap house, at the strip club, you preaching Jesus all up and down the sidewalk. You know, it's you know, it's so amazing when I hear stories like this. And I always know that I'm being very divinely guided to invite the people in who I invite in because we're so like-minded, even though we know really literally little or nothing about one another. But when I was churchy, I like to say, quote unquote churchy, I was a minister of music in the Baptist church for over 30 years. Wow. And I received a prophecy that I was supposed to go into ministry, you know, and actually become a minister and minister the word, not just through music, but through the word. And I told some of my friends at that time, I said, yeah, but it's not going to be the way people think. I'm not going to stand up here and preach to a whole bunch of people dressed up real pretty. I'm going to go out and then I'm going to attract the masses through my life, you know, just through the way that I live my life. It's not going to be a traditional form of ministry. But at that time, when I was considering for a moment doing something a little more formalized, I told a friend of mine, I said, you know what I would really like to do? I would like to go out at midnight and I like to go to the club.
Yes.
I would just like to talk to people hanging out at the club. That's what I wanted to do. Never did it, but yet and still, when you talked about that, I was like, oh my God, I used to want to do that. And the mere fact that you actually went and did it, I am just completely by that. I'm like, I can't believe it. She actually did it. And I could just only imagine how amazing that was, though, at that time.
Yeah, and I couldn't say that I was like that intentional, but what I did become intentional about is that when the word wanted to come through me to allow it to flow. So at first I used to be like a little embarrassed. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here drinking, and whatever's going on in the environment or,
Right,
I used to be like, no, I don't want to, no, like right now.
right now, like right now.
Here we go.
That's it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Well,
Really,
listen.
Mimi the Motivator came from me. I feel like, to me, in my world, I
Mhm,
was at the bar because that's where I normally go. Like, I was a bit of a recluse, but if I came out the house, I would go to the bar
go to
or
the bar.
craft brewing, do my work on the
Yeah.
computer or something.
Why not?
So I found myself in conversation with somebody, and I always came to, are you a motivational speaker?
Uh-huh.
Like, no. Why does everybody keep asking me that? So then one day we sitting around, and that's when Buffy the Body was like, the hot.
Oh, I remember Buffy. I remember Buffy, girl.
Know how old somebody is watching or listening to this if you know who Buffy the Body is.
Buffy the body, honey. We know who Buffy is.
Come on. Well, if Buffy can be the body, then Mimi can be the motivator. And
Definitely.
and I've been a marketing consultant. I've been marketing my whole life. My marketing bells and whistles start going off. And that's honestly, that's how I became Mimi the motivator.
Wow. That's correct. That is amazing. Wow. What a character arc that is. I'm just floored by that. Oh, Linnea McCrary is like, look at this. Just look at this right here. Okay, I'm trying to tell you, sis. Listen, we are already see, and this is what I'm talking about. An hour is never long enough because we're already midway through our segment, and we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of finding out who Mimi the Motivator is. But what I want to do really quickly is I want us to take a quick commercial break, and I'm actually gonna bring up a quick clip of you during that quick intermission.
Okay.
And so viewers, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because we're going to be back and then we're going to talk a little bit more about Mimi's journey, about motivation, and about this how she became the CEO of these two wonderful organizations. So stay tuned, folks, and we'll be right back.
Many of us are preparing for things not to work out for us. If you are preparing for things not to work out, then guess what's going to happen 9 times out of 10? Things are not going to work out for you, my dear. So know that you have to prepare for what it is that you are expecting. That's part of the law of attraction, is getting in preparation. That's the faith without works is dead. Part of the work is preparing. Okay?
Great day. It's your girl Asada here to introduce a new female solution show called Asada Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way Asada says it should be done. See you then. Peace, right here on the Female Solution.
And we're back. We are back. So I found that clip from your podcast, and I was like, "Ooh, she doesn't have it set to private. I can download it." I was like, "Oh, this is so awesome." what were you thinking? Did you? I'm hoping that you were able to hear that clearly when I took you off the stage. Were you?
Little button. So I caught part of it when I said 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna go their way, right? So
Yes,
I'm assuming, I'm guessing that I was talking about when you make a plan, or
yes.
when you think you know how things are gonna go, or you know,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
gotta find how things are gonna go.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what was happening, to you on this journey, when you were out there talking to people at the bar or wherever you were, you thought you knew how things were gonna go. People kept calling you, are you a motivational speaker? And then at what point in time, because I know you're not a motivational speaker, but at what point in time did that gift, because I believe that being able to motivate people is a gift. At what point in time did the gift actually take root and you move from being the minister going out to, talk to people after hours into becoming Mimi the Motivator? What was that like?
So that's a good question. Some years ago, so prior to me being Mimi the Motivator, the people who've been with me for a while knew Mimi Loot. Mimi Loot is who would be out in these streets, sunglasses on, same thing, except for it'd be some wild, crazy colored hair, and I'd be everywhere. People would pay me just to show up, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was more of me kind of being like a socialite and living just the socialite's life, sleep all day, party all night, you know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, like I said, when I started realizing that people kept asking me the same question about me being a motivational speaker, I was
Mhm.
like, hey, now is the time. And I say that because I remember being 16 or 17 years old in high school, and this, what I knew to be an artist, came to speak to us as
Mhm.
a motivational speaker, but I thought he volunteered. I didn't think that speakers got paid, and speaking was my sport. Like, I filled up my mama's house with trophies for speaking because I was too short and too awkward to do anything else. I wanted to play sports, but it just wasn't there for me. So what I did is speak. So from doing poetry stuff to doing comedy skit things, all things speaking. So I started thinking about it, but then let's talk about subconscious programming.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, there. Now, I was raised in a family where I am the only one who has this country twang. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. So people think because I'm from Nashville, oh, that must be why she talks like that. No, because Nashvillians have a slightly different.
They do. They do.
I have a Mississippi accent.
Mhm. I can hear it. Mhm.
Mississippian, in a sense, when it was time for me to learn how to speak. But my mother's from Columbus, Ohio. My father's from Boston. So when it was time for me to learn how to talk, the lady who kept me, she talks like this. Where's David James? Get on over here, you know. So I got so my grandmother would always say, you sound so ignorant. You sound so ignorant talking like that. That you don't have to speak that way. And she would say that to me for years up until I was probably in my early 40s. And it was the first time I bit back. And I said, you know what, Grammy? This is what she said to me that really triggered it. She
Mhm.
said, mother, who is from Pulaski, Tennessee, did everything she could to ensure that she did not have that Southern accent. I said, well, Grammy, I think I laid it on real thick and said, well, I'm sorry I'm not your mother and that I love who I am and I'm proud of who I am. I said, this voice of mine is going to move mountains. She threw up her
Ooh,
and just stormed off. I said, had I known that's what I needed to say, I would have did that a long time ago.
I love this. I am eating this up. Yes. I am so glad that you stood up to her.
Yes, but that voice is in my head that I
Yeah.
sound ignorant when I talk because
Mhm.
because I got this twang.
Yeah.
I have a degree in mathematics, a half of an MBA because I figured out I already knew everything they were teaching me. And I mean, I know a little bit more than the average bear. They call me the walking Wikipedia. So I'm not a whole lot that's ignorant or dumb.
Honey, there's nothing ignorant or dumb about Mimi the Motivator, honey, and I'm here to be the living testimony of that. Okay? Clock it.
Oh,
Clock it.
yes.
I'm so glad that you did not allow that to stop you, though, because how many stories have we heard of people who get torn down
Mm-hmm.
about the way they look, the way they dress, the way they sound, and they allow that to block their motivation. But
Mm-hmm.
you did not. I'm so glad that you didn't. Otherwise, we would never have had an opportunity to experience everything that is Mimi the Motivator. And just, just being realistic about it, those people, your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and mothers and fathers and whoever else we have in our lives, these are the people that shape and mold us into who we are. Their voices are always in the back of our minds as we go throughout our life's journey. I think that that has been one of the things that many of us who are Southerners, have had to kind of war with, the whole dialect um,
Yeah.
battle. And it's almost like the light skins versus the dark skins, and like being color. You know how people can be so hung up on color and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I read somewhere once before, and this is what changed my mindset, and this is also what stopped me from code switching, because we as African Americans, we can be real quick to code switch depending on what environment we find ourselves in or what table we're sitting at.
Yeah.
But I read something that it broke down the way Southerners speak. And I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but I would just want to share it really quickly. But it talked about how, of course, we were brought over during the transatlantic slave trade. And then the King James English, if you will, was forced upon us. It was thrust down our throats. But what we had to try to do was to take our authentic ancient language and dialect, and we ended up merging it in with the King's English. And that is how you get the Southern dialect that you hear today. It is not born out of ignorance.
Oh.
So you have people that will say, well, you should speak proper. I've heard folks in my family say, you're not talking, you're not speaking proper, you're not using correct grammar. Correct for whom? Who is it correct for?
Oh.
Because this is my authentic dialect. And the dialect that you get from the South is the closest that we get to speaking like our ancestors from Africa.
Come on. Come on. I always say,
It's a beautiful thing, Mimi.
yes, Ebonics is my first language. Period.
Come on, talk
My
about it.
and it's not a language of ignorance. It has its own phonics. I don't even want to get scientific.
It does, though. It does.
There's some ways that we put words together that other people can't even mimic. Okay.
That's it. But guess what? We all know what we're talking about.
Right, exactly. It's the
Hello.
same one who speaks patois.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely patois. Yes.
Right. It's like an English patois.
Yes.
It's American patois.
Yes, it
But
is.
it's called phonics.
Yes.
But it is own subset language of the English language, but its own language.
Yes.
It does not identify ignorance. It does not identify level of education. It does not identify socioeconomic background. It does not identify income, revenue, or impact.
It does not. And it does not. Honey, you better preach that today. Okay. This is a whole sermon in and of itself. And I want to say to anybody who's out there, whether you're listening live or if you come back to catch the recap, honey, you better embrace your Southern roots and dialect, and you speak the way that feels most comfortable and authentic to you. Because for us to code switch is to say that we are denying and ashamed of our heritage, and that just will not do. So one of the things again that I had to do was I had to come to terms with my upbringing. Now I'm like you. We talked about that, the fact that I was actually Michigan born.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised in the South. And so you don't even hear Michigan coming out in my voice anymore because I've been in the South so long. And there was a time I was a little ashamed of it, but over time, and as I began to understand and embrace my roots, I began to gravitate more towards it and become more proud of it. You
Yeah.
talk about Mississippi. My father's people are from Mississippi, as I can hear that in there. My son went to college. My youngest son went to college in Nashville. I know the Nashville dialect. You are
Yeah.
correct. And I hear it when it comes out. And it is beautiful. It is like music, girl, to
Yeah.
my ears. Okay.
I feel like that's what helped me start moving more towards owning my voice and how I speak, is because everywhere I go, I get complimented on my accent.
I do
People
too.
love the way I talk. They love the way I speak.
I do too. Linnea McCrary, who's on, and she was speaking, and I wanted to go back to that. She was saying, "Hey," because she's from Cleveland, Ohio. So she is a very, very dear friend of mine. So Ohio had to go ahead and give you that shout out, right? Home team. Um,
Yeah.
but she will often say, "Girl, the way you would turn a phrase, or when I listen at your dialect when it comes through," she said, "I just love it," and I appreciate her embracing that because, of course, she was born and raised in Ohio and has been in Ohio all her life. So you can hear that Ohio dialect come out in her speech. But it is, when we talk, it's always a beautiful exchange. And we love to hear each other speak. I love her voice just like she loves mine. And it's just one of those things that I think that makes us just so rich as a people.
Yes, I agree. Ashe.
So Ashe, honey, Ashe. So listen, I want to bring it back because I know I kind of got off topic a little bit talking about dialect and things of that nature. But I want to kind of circle back to the Feel Rich Group and Evolve Me University. I want you to tell us a little bit about these two organizations and how they came to be. And I'm sure that there may be some people out there who are even interested in
Yeah.
maybe becoming a part, if that's at all possible.
Thank you for asking. So, the Feel Rich Group is a business to business consulting firm. Primarily, we work with nonprofit organizations and other social impact organizations. Again, we only work with people with double profit lines. So, if you're only interested in money, we're not the people to call on. But
Right.
if you are someone who are looking to increase your community impact, then we are definitely the go-to organization for that, because we provide custom solutions for our. We don't have a cookie cutter anything for anybody. Besides, we're going to take you from where you are to where you desire to be
Come on.
going. But Evolvement University is for individuals, whether you are a leader or an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. This is where people come to heal, build, and scale, because I believe that you can build a business that brings you both peace and prosperity. That is not.
Mhm.
There was a time where I used to be going. I was, hashtag team no sleep, and with burnt. Okay, like, girl, I
Been there, done that.
listen. I podcasted for 250 weeks in a row. 250 weeks in a row, nonstop. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
Girl, if you don't never podcast again, I think you've done enough.
Come on, I have plenty out there.
Yeah, yeah,
I never even considered that I could take a break. I
right.
considered probably like planning ahead enough, and like, pre-scheduling and all of that kind of stuff. It was like some of that never occurred to me
Yeah,
because I didn't have anybody guiding me along the way.
that part. That part.
And then I would pay for coaching programs that would be overpriced, is what I'm going to happily say, for me to not really learn, or for it to be a janky platform, for them to be me stuff that I already knew, because I've been an entrepreneur my whole entire life, that I started building my own courses. I had been teaching like live, like local courses, but then I was
Yeah,
like, let's start transforming this into an online community.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that,
sure.
because I had people in different states, And that way, all of us could come together in one space and we could learn together, grow together, build together, all of that. And so that's what I have available. So I have a multitude of courses available at Evolving University. If you're into spiritual things, I have a root chakra healing course. If you want to speak with confidence, we have a public speaking course. But the flagship course is a 12-week program to help you heal, build a business, and scale that business immediately. Because I believe in automating things and
Yeah.
give life back. I believe in having freedom, sitting around. I believe in going to get in the hot tub, going and laying on the ground. Anybody who follows me on social media know I love laying on the ground and being out in nature.
I
And
love that.
possible is because of automations and some other things that I've put in place. And
Yeah.
so all of my people, as much as I can, for all the, I don't even want to talk about how much I pay my coaches, but I condense all of that into my program along with a year-long worth of mentorship. But I have some free things coming up, so make sure that you're connecting with me. We have some master classes coming up. We typically do one a month. We have some live events, from a beach retreat to a healing retreat going on later on in the year. So just make sure that you're connected and tapped in, tuned in. But definitely go to evolvemeuniversity.com, or you see there's a link going across the bottom. Click that, connect, and talk about how I can help you go to the next level. Because you can always schedule a free conversation with me, a strategic manifestation session, so we can get you from where you are to where you desire to be, because I believe whatever you desire, you deserve. And I'm here to help you.
Amen to that, sister. Amen to that. I want to take a few quick comments. Charlie Colquitt is saying ebonics and acronyms used to be frowned upon with mainstream America, and now it's in all commercials, i.e., YOLO, GOAT, the NFL and NBA brand, the terms, yep, the gram, Instagram. Amen to that, Charlie. Like, it's everywhere, because they want to be us. Okay, but we're not going to get into that's another story for another.
I don't know how we don't see that we run the world. Whatever we do, America does. Whatever America does, the rest of the world does, which equates to the world. Who runs the world?
We do. Of course we do. Of course we do.
It's us.
Yes. Linnell was just kind of reflecting on what we were talking about earlier. You talking about, burning the midnight oil and working around the clock and the 250 weeks of podcasting. She said, then you be teen burnt out. And she's also saying that she done went and followed the platforms. Okay, I know that's right. You just better. I think I have been following Mimi now. Oh gosh, I don't know. We've been friends on Instagram for a couple of years now.
Years. Yeah, it's been some years now. We've been in the game together.
Yeah, but we just never had a chance to like formally connect like this. And I'm just so thankful that we did. I think that everything happens exactly when it's supposed to, and not a minute sooner. Yes?
I agree.
Agree. Now, I heard you earlier also talk about a book. Now, how many books have you authored?
So I've authored a few. Have I published any of them? No.
Okay.
Do I ensure that all my clients publish their books? Absolutely, yes. So now I've turned the tables on myself just recently. I'm like, okay, that same pressure that I put on everybody else, because the books are written, they're done.
Girl.
But the first one that will be coming out, that's due to be released, I want to say in June, is called Soul Rinse. So Soul Rinse is a 40-day journey. It comes with a little bit of reading. It has some activity that you have to do each week in the graduated process. And there's affirmations for every day and a little journaling for every day. But it is an incremental step to help you become 1% better and unlock that next level, because it's inside of you. I believe that we're all like acorns, and an acorn got a whole forest inside of it. So what's inside of you?
Okay. A whole forest, a whole world. Okay, if you will, a whole doggone world. And you know what? And Chucks, I need some of that stuff and I can't wait for the book to be released. I will be definitely watching to see when, because I gotta get my copy, and I want my copy autographed, by the way. I'm just saying, okay, but that okay. I just thought I'd put that in there real quick. Because one of the things that I found, and I do want to go back to this, talking about the entrepreneurial journey, it is arduous. It's It's lonely. Girl, put the kettle on, okay? Because the tea is hot and piping here tonight.
Come on now, preach it now, preach
It
it.
it's it's lonely. I got to keep going back to lonely. And I think that sums it up, because for me to try to sit here and explain it to someone, they still would never be able to completely understand unless they had walked a mile in those entrepreneurial or entrepreneur shoes.
Come on now.
Okay.
Yes.
We are we are in a class all by ourselves. I struggled for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't all bad, but it was 3 years trying to run two businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And the burnout that we've been talking about here, that you spoke about, that Linnea, piggybacked off of, it got so bad until I literally just dropped everything,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just tired.
Mm-hmm.
I did go back and pick up my spiritual business, but I wasn't full throttle, if you will. I had already kind of garnered a following, clientele, people who had become my regular clients. So they were always going to come back for repeat, readings and sessions and things of that nature. But talk to us a little bit about what do we do? If you could sum it up, because I know this is something you do with people over time. But if you could just kind of sum it up, what is something that people can do to get and stay motivated, especially now in this changing world? And I feel, let me say this really quickly before you answer. I feel as if the current climate that we're under, okay, spiritually, this whole thing is spiritual now. I don't care what you see on TV. I don't care what's going on up there at that White House with that cheetah. I'm just saying, I don't care what we got going on politically out, but this whole battle is a spiritual one, if you will.
Yes.
But it is changing the face of not only our world, but of who we are.
It's the age of Aquarius.
It is. It really is.
That
With Pluto being in Aquarius, everything is undergoing a transformation from a global perspective.
yes.
How, Mimi? How do we get and stay motivated in this changing world, sis?
First and foremost, turn the TV off.
Woo!
Into the news.
Teddy Pendergrass, turn it off.
The news makes their money off of your fears. So they're only going to feed the fears. They're going to weave a little bit of good news in there, here and there. But ultimately, they're here to feed your fears so you can make fear-based decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So turn the TV off.
Turn it off.
Focus on whatever problems you got going on inside your own household, and more importantly, inside your own mind and body.
Ooh.
Okay?
Ooh. Sis.
Okay?
Come on.
Go there and you start with that. You'll be so focused on that, you won't even have time to tune into the rest. And the next thing is, have a plan, have a schedule, have a planner. Plan your hours out, plan your days before they begin.
Mm-hmm.
Assign your hours, even if the hour is to lay in the grass, assign it to that.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are assigning eating in there. Make sure you are assigning exercising in there.
Yes.
And keep doing it little bits by little bits. Even if you don't have a full hour to do something or a full 20 minutes, then you better do it for 20 seconds. But don't
do something.
No more 0 days. Okay?
No more 0 days. Oh, I love that. No more 0 days. That's it. That's it right there. No more 0 days. Because how often do you hear clients, or maybe you've even said it yourself, or you've heard it from friends and family, just don't have the time. Like, I want to do this.
No, time is an illusion, but we don't have time to talk about that. So what I want to say is that you need to create the time. If you need to wake up a little earlier before everybody else, or you need to log off of a meeting a little earlier, you need to prioritize you first, and then everything else.
Yes. Most definitely. No more 0 days. That is a key takeaway for this evening's segment. Y'all heard it here first from Mimi the Motivator. She said no more 0 days. Just
Yes.
think about how much we can get accomplished if
Mhm.
we adopt that mindset. No more 0 days. And I gotta confess, I got a confession to make. I was running a little behind coming onto the platform. I sent you the text. The reason I was running behind is because I worked out.
Well, you know what? We glad you did that.
I worked out. I have been on a weight loss journey now for about a year and a half.
Yes.
My workouts are non-negotiable. Now,
Yes.
I may go through ebbs and flows with them, and by that I mean I may not go as hard sometimes as I do at others, but I got to get something in, even if it's just a brisk walk around my neighborhood. I got to get it in. And I was going to forego it.
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to be pushing it to get, to the platform if I do this. But then something was like, you'll get there in time.
Well, I'm glad you did it, and I'm gonna coach you for 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Losing weight, because when we lose stuff, we tend to go find it, and you don't want to go find it again. So don't lose it. You can release it.
Come on, release.
Release what no longer serves you. At the moment you start releasing what no longer serves you, the weight will go with it. That weight is just a form of protection that you've put on. It's your little spiritual spacesuit you done put on.
That's it.
Let that go. You don't need to be protected. You are divinely protected. So you don't need to protect yourself from anything or anyone.
Yes.
Just let it go. Release what no longer serves you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And watch what fades away.
Oh, just amazing, amazing words. So profound. Thank you so much. I needed to hear that because it is a journey. It's a journey that so many of us have had to go on or are on. Let's see. I got a few more comments before we close out. Release. Linnell McCrary said that was a word for her too. See, you blessed us in so many ways just by coming with these practical insights. Ashe, ashe. Listen, it has been such a pleasure speaking with you this evening, spending time. I hope that I can get you to come back at some point to share with me again. Or maybe we come up with something else we can get together and do. I don't know what the future might hold, but girl, we got to get together again, okay? This cannot be the end all that be all.
Okay, we need more conversation.
We got to have more conversation. We've got to. Listen, guys, this has been season 2, episode 10, okay? The season closer with Mimi the Motivator, how to get and stay motivated in a changing world. I hope you guys have taken some nuggets of wisdom away from my dear sister. Again, look here, the ticker is going across the bottom of the screen. This is how you can get in contact with Mimi at her Linktree / Mimi the Motivator. Make sure you reach out, look into the Feel Rich group as well as Evolve Me University, and don't forget to look for that book or those books. I'm going to say plural that will be coming out soon. Mimi, thank you again, sis. It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. I'm going to be closing out tonight and this season with another word from the Female Solution. Thank you all for coming to join us, and please have a blessed night.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.